September, Saturday, the 21st. It's going to be in Jackson, Tennessee, the official Hall of Fame of Memphis Wrestling, inducting Handsome Jimmy, Messick, Boogeyman Phil Goff, tell my people, don't you dare miss it. And all the big stars, man. Kingfish Jerry Lawler, Superstar Billy, yes baby, and thank you so much, Mr. Hill, Mr. Golden, thank you. I'll be there, you be there, hold that high.
Remember, Saturday, September 21st, the Picture Perfect Event Center, Jackson, Tennessee. Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony comes to Jackson for the first time ever. The Rivalry of the Ages presentation to Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. Also, Handsome Jimmy Valiant, The Rock and Roll Express, Danny Davis, and tons more. Exclusive meet and greet at 3:30. Event to follow. Go to MemphisWrestlingHallOfFame.com to purchase tickets. Saturday, September 21st, Picture Perfect Event Center, 2310 North Highland, Jackson. A night to remember.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guests.
Hello again, everybody. It's Randy Hills. We're rounding third. We're headed home and only 11 days away. You see the posters in the background. We're fired up. We're excited. And we will bring at you in 11 days in Jackson, Tennessee. It will be a night to remember Lawler and Dundee, a tribute with the rivalry for the ages. Also, the 2024 inductions into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, a meet and greet with so many great people. Hello to PJ, to Al, to Thomas, to everybody, to Richard Hood, everybody watching today on Talking Memphis Wrestling. Now, I'll tell you, I don't like to false advertise and normally don't false advertise, but however, we had a situation where I'd advertised from the regulators, from Men on a Mission, from the Harlem Knights, Sir Mo, who will be going in September the 21st to the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame in Jackson, Tennessee. Sir Mo scheduled to be on this show today, Andrew Calvin. I'm doing good. Hope you are too. Sir Mo's supposed to be here on this show today. He's recently, as a matter of fact, today, moved into a new house. And the situation with that new house was the cable man, the Wi-Fi man didn't show up, and he couldn't do the connection to get on this show. So man, I am thrilled to death about 7:15 to have Carl Fergie, cousin Carl Fergie, the first cousin to Jerry Lawler. We'll show some video. We'll talk about what he's doing now. He lives in Jackson, Tennessee. Carl will be here my time about 7:15. In order of arrival in the backstage area, I'll go with that. The person that a little bit under the weather, and I didn't know if he's going to make it, and we still don't know how long he's going to make it. That's why I'm going to go open up right now with Pat Trammell's opening take.
Well, good morning, good afternoon. It's always good to be with everybody. A little bit under the weather due to a nest of nasty yellow jackets, but we'll hang in there and see how we do. And appreciate Carl taking the hot tag from us. We're gonna miss Sir Mo, but we're gonna see him in how many days? 11 days. 11 days, and I am getting more and more excited by the day.
All right, is that it for your first take?
That's it for my first take.
All right, hello to Tanner and hello to Frank Hello to everybody from Team Hales, and we're in Birmingham, Alabama. Just was in Birmingham, and now I don't know what the mileage is from Birmingham to Arab, Alabama, but it's football season in Alabama. Let's welcome 2024. He'll join the Hall of Fame in 11 days. Let's welcome to Talking Memphis Wrestling, Michael St. John.
The guy that doesn't look anything like that picture does. Hey, Pat, I got a recommendation for you. Benadryl.
Yeah, we've been working the Benadryls for sure.
All right.
And the other issue is, and I don't want to make this about me, I've got to get on a flight at 5 a.m. in the morning. So we'll see where it all goes.
Boy, I hope the swelling goes down. My grandpa, whenever I got stung, and I got hit out at our transmitter last year by 3 of them. I got 2 on the hand and 1 on the belly, of all places. And the first thing I did is I ran to the convenience store and bought a pack of cigarettes. And I don't smoke, but I grabbed those cigarettes and threw them under the water and threw that tobacco on me. And it's amazing what gets the stinger out. So hope you get well, my friend. Looking forward to seeing you.
Absolutely.
Hey, all is good in Alabama right now. Everybody is anticipating the debate with massive amounts of alcohol being consumed. And it's going to be a wild night, but could be a very telltale night before the night is over. And, of course, we're here with this great broadcast because I know there are a lot of people that could care less about the debate, but they love wrestling, and it's great to have them here. And, Randy, it's great to be with you, and it's always great to see Pat.
Excited about the gang together, missing Chris Ellis, but he will be a part of us in 11 days at the night to remember. We're waiting in about maybe 8 minutes for Carl Fergie talk about his career. Right now, we want to travel to Memphis, Tennessee, a pre-recorded promo I put on my Facebook last night. It's on my Twitter, and it's got record views. Folks, here's Dave Brown.
To the 21st in Jackson. That's a Saturday night, and it's going to be out on North Highland Street at the Picture Perfect Event Center. A night to remember. It should indeed be a night to remember. For one thing, a tribute that night to the duel of all time, the King, Jerry Lawler, and the superstar, Bill Dundee. Also, Shane Russell, Lance, my partner Lance's son, Shane Russell, is going to be joining me as we do the 2024 Hall of Fame inductions. It should be a great night. Listen, some of the people that are going to be there. The King, Jerry Lawler, of course, superstar Bill Dundee, handsome Jimmy Valiant, the Spellbinder, PG-13, Dr. Tom Pritchard will be there, the Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony, Rock and Roll Express, Nightmare Danny Davis, Tommy Wildfire, Rich Dangerous, Doug Gilbert, Coco Beware, referee Jerry Calhoun will be there. Downtown Bruno also there, many more too. It is going to be a huge night, a night to remember, Saturday, September 21st, 2024, at the Picture Perfect Event Center, 2310 North Highland in Jackson, Tennessee. You can get your tickets online at Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame.com. All one word, Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame.com. Or they will be on sale the afternoon and evening of the event. See you for a night to remember.
Your thoughts, Pat Trammell, on that great video from the great Dave Brown?
You know, I was thinking about all this afternoon. Obviously, Randy, you and Terry and others have been working very hard on getting this together. And you know, you've been a part of this all your certainly working life and most of your physical life. And Michael, I'm so excited to see him rightfully inducted into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. But you know, by the grace of God and the internet, I'm allowed to be here with all our friends, and I want to say hello to everybody. I didn't get everybody personally this week, but you know, I'm a fan. I've been a fan, and I'm just so very excited to be on what I just consider, a hallowed hall at the Prime Event Center. I just think we're going to have a whole lot of fun, and it's just something that I couldn't even imagine when I was growing up watching wrestling like this, and I'm just thankful to you and Terry and everybody who's worked so hard to put this together. And, I just feel like I'm going to be walking among the legends, which I am.
Hey, speaking of the legends, we have a legend coming in just a minute. We've heard from one legend as we talked to just a few minutes ago. First take, Michael St. John gave his first take, and now, Michael, you didn't know I was going to have you do this. You will bring on and introduce our guest on this show. First time guest, living now in Jackson, Tennessee.
Good guy too. I've had the opportunity to work with him during his career. He's legendary in the fact that people say, well, he's Jerry Lawler's cousin, and that's pretty legendary in itself. But as a wrestler and somebody in this business, and if I'm not mistaken, Carl also did some refereeing back in the day. But I want to welcome in a guy that certainly proved himself from Jackson, Tennessee, the legendary King Carl Fergie. Love that, man. Good look on it.
Thank you, Michael. I'm going to tell Randy Hales one thing. It's about time he got some talent on this show. I know he's trying to get the ratings up. And is there another way to do it besides having the real King on the show tonight?
Well, I'm just honest. I'm perplexed and in shock and everything else, Carl. I am sitting here. I thought you saw good. I thought there was good in you. And after you stole that crown from Jerry Lawler 40 years ago.
Let's get the story straight. I came out as the king, the original king. Jerry Lawler started calling himself the king. So I came down to the Memphis Wrestling shows and was going to try to right a wrong that was going on, and Lance Russell, bless his soul, he's passed away and gone. Dave Brown and yourself too, Randy Hales, y'all just got on that Jerry Lawler bandwagon and brainwashed all the people in the Memphis area and made them think that he was the king of wrestling. So I was just trying to right a wrong that had been going on and on and on because I was the original real king of professional wrestling. So,
Michael, what else do you have for him? Good luck with this. We see where he's going.
No, let me tell you, this is great. Carl, I've known Carl for years. I mean, this is great. And, sometimes history has to be, put in its place, at times rewritten, but we won't talk about that. But sometimes it has to be put in its place. Carl, I know you and I had and I don't know if this is a dubious distinction or a dubious honor, but you and I had a chance to be part of the Chattanooga debacle, if you would, between CWA and Georgia Championship Wrestling for those few weeks. And I got to tell you, when looking back on that, there was some of the most outstanding talent, and I think just about every one of those folks that were in that original 8 to 10 people, they all got into really great standing with professional wrestling. I think just about all of them are now in the Hall of Fame. And now, to have you on and to see you in the crowd, you look great, my friend. You really do.
I appreciate it, Michael. And I want to call just one more little thing, and I'm not slamming anybody. I know there's a bunch of lowlifes out there that don't like King Carl Fergie, and that's fine. It's just like the elections going on. Some like the Republicans, some like the Democrats, and that's okay. We live in America. But I want every lowlife out there to get on the phone tonight and call somebody. Call your lowlife buddies and tell them to tune in to the Randy Hales show tonight. And because you got a real celebrity on finally after all Randy's been doing this for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, 2 or 3 years or something or other. And I sneak a peek at him every now and then. He's successful in his own right.
Well, all right, King Carl Fergie. The first question I want to ask you, just give it to me in years. How long's it been since you've done a wrestling, quote, quote, promo that you just did? How long's it been since you've done a promo? Because you're better now than you ever were.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you. Compliment.
Yeah, underhanded compliment. That's fine. I'll take it. I'll take it. It's been a long time. Been a long time. So
You did a fantastic job. So, Pat, my co-host, and Michael St. John, that you know, because the debacle that was set Chattanooga and CWA and Georgia, we all know about that. We won't waste our time talking about that at all.
yeah.
But let me ask you: you grew up the first cousin of Jerry Lawler. Just tell me, honestly, like where you grew up and when's the first time you thought that wrestling would be a career for you? Let's start with that.
Well, I grew up in West Tennessee, little place called Brownsville, Haywood County.
Exit
And
56.
Exit 56 with a notorious Dairy Queen. All the boys would stop there. Sometime to get gas. I actually had a gas station there at one point. Now, I'll tell you a real quick story. Dave probably wouldn't remember it, but he stopped in there and bought a tank of gas from me. And you know what? And all he had to pay with was $100 bill. Bless his heart. And we couldn't change it or whatever. But he was so nice. And I had to run across the street or up to the Dairy Queen or somewhere to get him to break that 100 so I could give Dave his change back. And I thought that was pretty awesome. That's Dave Brown's coming to my gas station filling up. So. But yeah, of course, I saw my cousin Jerry on TV every Saturday morning. My dad was a big wrestling fan, and the next thing I know, he sold me on it. And I'm like, well, you know what? I had this friend that was pestering the heck out of me. He says, Carl, why don't we try to get into that, somehow? So anyhow, he found a door for us you can throw that name out there, old timer name, Herb Welch. And
Right.
He was training guys, and next thing you know, I'm over there talking to Mr. Welch, and one thing led to another, and here I am, so.
And you will make your return to the audience in Jackson, Tennessee, the place you live now, on the 21st. Pat, before we move to the next subject, any questions for Carl Fergie? Here's Pat Trammell from Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, Carl, it's great to meet you, and you're the true king in my eyes. How long was your training, and how old were you when you started that?
You know what? I probably got in a little late in life. I'm thinking I was probably mid-20s, 22, 3 or 4, something like that. I know I had a couple of little kids at home, and they were only, my son, I was talking to him this afternoon. He's approaching age 50, and he was just a little kid, 3 or 4 years old, 2 or 3 years old or something, and they wanted me, of course, how it was back then. You had to travel and move and blah, 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 and to different territories and stuff. And that's the reason I was kind of reluctant to do it. But the next thing you know, I was doing it gone from home a lot. Like, you've heard these stories 1,000 times from the other guys that missed out on a lot of family time and stuff, so. But yeah, I was early 20s, and I hung around for maybe 10, 12 years or something, and I just saw that probably no future in it for me. So I started to venture out and do other things, so.
One thing that Carl did for many years in Jackson at Gold's Gym, he was a big shot there and did a fantastic job and made a career on it. And he's made a career in Jackson and in West Tennessee and all over. He has a great job and does a lot of good for a lot of people, and something I'm in the getting older stage as well. And that's what Carl helps people with. Carl, tell everybody what you're involved in these days.
I'm actually an insurance broker now, and I have a license for Tennessee, of course, Mississippi, Georgia, Texas, recently in Louisiana. I got a lot of friends down there, so just kind of venturing out a little bit. I don't want to get too big. It's kind of
Arkansas.
Arkansas, unfortunately, I do not have Arkansas, and the only thing is Arkansas is a little bit tougher. I started out, I think my first year I had the Arkansas license, but they wanted me to drive all the way to Little Rock and do some goofy tests and stuff with others. You could kind of do it online. Yeah, that's right. Some people say I got a lazy streak in me, and I do. You know, I work out of my home and do everything online and stuff. I don't like to travel too much. I'll travel some, you know, if people are local and they can't get out. I do a lot of Medicares and under 65 health insurance as far as all the other stuff too. So I'm more like a broker. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. And now I want to let everybody know at 3:30 in the afternoon on the 21st, it's Jackson, Tennessee. Jackson, Tennessee at the Picture Perfect Event Center. Tickets on sale now. All you have to do when it comes back up is scan that QR code or go to Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame.com. Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame.com. And real quick, in the meet and greet that includes everybody in the Hall of Fame, and I want to rapid fire do this, just bam, 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 bam. So whenever you see a slide, some of them will be just meet and greet, some of them will be Hall of Fame also in the meet and greet. So when you see the person on there, again, rapid fire, rapid fire, rapid fire, as you see, because Pat and Michael, we've talked about this for the last month, would like to get your opinions on everybody going in to the Hall of Fame and everybody that will be a part of this meet and greet. Adam, go ahead.
Before I say this, Carl, do me a favor and don't hold back.
Don't hold back.
He's a little shy.
Yeah, I've been known to be a little shy.
I
So
love this guy.
Sir Mo, he looked a little vicious there. You know, if I wouldn't, I already have a girlfriend, but if I didn't, I'd probably be calling him up. You know,
Hey, Sir Mo from Men of the Mission, Harlem Knights, and the Regulators. Next slide. Now you might not know this guy because he's younger, and about the youngest people you know is me, and I'm about 40 years older than this guy. This is Doug Basham. He will do the induction of Danny Davis. This is Danny Davis's, and he was a WWF wrestler. This is Danny Davis's nephew.
Oh, okay, good. He's good looking guy. Looks like he takes care of himself. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know Doug. Hopefully, I'll get to meet him and everything. But most, you know, it's kind of tough for me because I was one of those people that when I got away from wrestling, I just really didn't follow it. And a bunch of the guys, you know, unless it was people that were around when I was around, you know, I just don't know them or don't know of them too much. So, but yeah.
Next slide. I don't know if you know this guy. He lives now. He's the #1 media guy in Jonesboro, Arkansas. My friend Brandon Baxter, and I think Brandon was after your time, Carl.
No. Brandon was there. I'd seen him around. I don't know exactly what his role was, but he was around the studio there in Memphis a lot and at the shows. So, but yeah, I remember Brandon quite well.
Can't wait for Brandon Baxter to be. How about this guy? You have to know him because at one time I think he might have managed you a day or two.
Oh yeah, that's my man there, downtown Bruno. Yep. He
from Walls, Mississippi.
Walls, Mississippi. I was just talking to somebody down in Mississippi a little bit earlier. She said something about how the rent was so expensive around South Haven and everything. She said I advised them to move maybe down to Walls, but then they said nobody wants to live down at Walls. And the first thing I said, well, downtown Bruno loves Walls. He's actually the mayor of that city or some type of.
He's a alderman of the city, and Mama says. Everybody bees that way sometimes. How about this young fella?
It wouldn't be right for me to talk about this guy, so y'all can take over. If
Michael and Pat.
I love the chop sideburns, Carl. That speaks volumes.
Thank you.
One of the most underrated wrestlers, I think, that ever appeared on Memphis television and in Chattanooga. And the man can cut a promo. I mean, he proved that already on this show, but the man could cut a promo. I always love to interview Carl because, number one, he would get the point across, but number one, he'd throw something in there that would just either make me break up laughing and I'd have to hold my tongue to keep from laughing, or just something so weird I'd have to do a little expression with my eyes. Carl, you are so deserving of this, man. Really are.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it a whole lot. And I thank Randy, of course, too. there's the man there, Dave Brown. What can you not say about him? I mean, he's awesome. Been around, a long, long time. He was my favorite weatherman, and then I got to actually meet him, like I said, out at my gas station. Again, Dave, if you're listening to this, maybe I don't know if you can remember back that far, or even it was a little thing for him, but it was a big thing for us. Did you see who that was? That was Dave Brown. So anyhow, that was pretty cool. But yeah, and to be part of the Memphis Wrestling and to see him up close and consider him an acquaintance of mine is pretty awesome.
Dave Brown will be on the Randy Hill Show coming up Monday, and a week from yesterday. Can't wait to have Dave Brown. This guy lives in Lexington, or is from Lexington, Tennessee. He lives where you live right now there, Carl.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know that. Of course, I know Doug, and I knew him when he was a little kid. His brother Eddie and I used to go swing by the grade school and pick him up, or whatever, before we were headed out of town. And so I knew Doug and known him, most of his life, I guess, the whole Gilbert family. So the good people.
All right. Carl Fergie is, and I'm not going to talk about myself, and we'll let somebody else do that. Obviously, I will be a part of the meet and greet at 3:30. These are not the Hall of Fame guys. These are the many people in the Hall of Fame. I want to say hello to everybody watching, and we skipped right all over me, and you can go with this next one, Carl.
Yep, my man Tony Falk. Yeah, Tony. He was around back in the day. I don't know if he still is in the ring participating in whatever, but an awesome, maybe again one of those people that's described as underrated. A great worker, But Tony, maybe I don't. Again, I haven't kept up with Tony how his career went, but he might have been, a person like me that was just kind of satisfied with the spot that he had. He had a job, or and looking back, a lot of times that's the way I did it too. I was just proud to be there. I had a job, and I could go places and and get a job. So more than a lot of people could say back then, as Randy can tell you, just anybody couldn't put a pair of boots on and get a job in pro wrestling. So it was an honor just to be part of it.
Rapid fire this guy.
Oh, my man, Jerry Calhoun. What a help he was in the ring, just helping orchestrate and general the matches, just conveying what needed to be done and, stuff like that. So a good guy. Played a lot of golf with Jerry Calhoun. So he's a good golfer too.
Inducting the Rock and Roll Express into the Memphis Hall of Fame will be the son of Rick Morton, Kerry Morton. Good-looking kid, a former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion for sure. And Kerry will be there along with the Rock and Roll. And come back to us right now. We'll come back to Coco if we come back to us right now, as we're going to do parting shots right now from Pat Trammell. Again, we talked about the situation he had this morning. Also, apparently, Mo's internet guy, his Wi-Fi guy, has showed up. We have him on here. Mo, just stand by as we're wrapping up this part of the thing. And with Carl Fergie was nice enough to come in here. Pat's fixing to tag himself out. Pat, final take on this show today.
Well, I'm sorry I do need to tag out, but I do have to get this elevated because I've got to get on a plane. But Carl, it's great to see you. I look forward to seeing you in 11 days, and maybe you'll let me try that crown on for.
Thank you, sir.
For a few greenbacks.
There you go.
All right. Good night, everybody.
So long, Pat. Get well. Benadryl, buddy. Benadryl.
Thank you, and let's finish up real quick, if we haven't already, Adam, and then we'll bring Mo in here right now. Let's go ahead. Anybody we've missed? How about this one? Rapid fire, Carl.
Coco Beware. What can you say? I remember Coco when he first come into the business. We were in a town over here in West Tennessee, one of the the spot shows or whatever they call them. And I go in the dressing room. There's Coco. He was so young, he looked like a little kid, So he's a few years behind me as far as age or whatever. So I've known Coco a long, long time. He's a great worker in the ring, could do it all. He and Bobby Eden were what a team they were, around Memphis. Randy, I'm sure you remember all that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, a fantastic team. And again, is there any more, Adam? As I am processing a deal, one more, so Carl will handle that.
We're talking about Pat Rose. Yeah, good friend of mine. Did some business with Pat. He's down in Georgia now, lives in Georgia, and he has a podcast and stuff. I hope, since I have an insurance license, maybe Pat's been talking about retiring. Maybe I'll get his insurance business, Pat, if you're watching the show. So anyhow.
Pat Rose, attacking partners in mid-80s with Tom Pritchard, who will be a member of the Hall of Fame, will be inducted on September the 21st. And Pat Rose's son, Carl, I don't know if you were aware of this or not, but his son is a country music recording star, and he will sing the national anthem. And I believe this is the last one, and you can talk about "Oh Wildfire."
Wildfire, what can you say? He's the wildfire now. I was with Tommy in his Georgia days down in Atlanta, and there was nobody as hot as Tommy Wildfire Rich was at that time. You know, he was on cable TV before there was any cable TV. You know, so yeah, what a trip that was. What a good guy. You know, just natural fire in the ring. Natural fire, you know. People, the bad guy would. I was down there with Ole Anderson and those guys, you know, and they'd grab a handful of those golden locks, and the people would go crazy. You want to come in the ring on you? Don't mess with Tommy. That's our boy, you know. So,
hey, Carl, can we have Mo that's joining us? I'd like to bring him in, but
sure.
More I want to talk to you about. Can you stick around and listen to this, or do you got to
sure.
go?
Nah, I can stick on. I'll hang on. Yeah, y'all go ahead.
On September the 21st, he will be inducted to the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. We have a lot of people that has gone beyond what they're obligated to for our business, for the wrestling business. Two of the inductees we talk about, great trainers, Danny Davis and Tom Pritchard. Another man debuted in the 90s as part of the Harlem Heat, and we will have video of that in just a little bit. I'm tickled to death that Sir Mo, which also known as Bobby Horn, will be a 2024 inductee into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. With Pat Trammell, gone away right now, but Michael St. John in the house, and cousin Carl Fergie is around. We make welcome his very first appearance on Talking Memphis Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, all the way out in Texas. Hey, Mo. Bobby
Hey,
Horn.
Randy. How you doing, Randy? How's it going?
Real good, man. You look like $1 million. What the hell happened to you, man? You look better. How does that happen?
Hey, man, by the grace of God, man, you know, he took me to hell and back again. So I feel resurrected, and I'm excited, I'm humbled, and I can't tell you what this whole thing means to me, how much life has brought back into me, because I was kind of down on the business for a while. But the whole idea of this Memphis Wrestling induction, man, has just, I don't know, man, just lit another fire in me, Randy, and I really appreciate it.
Well, a fire was lit in you before I lit the fire in you by sending you a Facebook message. For some reason, you won't share your damn phone number with me. I have to communicate with you by Facebook Messenger, but people paying more attention to that. You're involved in the next generation, and I mentioned it some, and you can explain to me because it's important to you. I am giving anybody that's inducted, as I plan this ceremony, I'm telling every one of you, say, whoever you want to induct you, you pick them. Rick Morton picked his son, and you picked your guy. Who is inducting you at the Picture Perfect Event Center in Jackson, Tennessee on September the 21st?
On the September the 21st show will be one of my students right here in Dallas, Texas. They call him Nate the Great Lawson. Young man that's probably been in the business 4 years. We tagged together before I got sick in 2022. He knows me like the back of my hand. My original thought was another one of my younger students who I started training at the age of 12. He just turned 18. And so he wants to induct me into another Hall of Fame. So we'll just pray to God that happens. But for right now, you know, the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame to me is a great honor, and I am privileged to have Nate Lawson induct me into that Hall of Fame.
That is fantastic. A part of, obviously, came in with the USWA, then went to the WWF, then you wrestled all over the world, literally all over the world, worked the USWA, worked Power Pro Wrestling, and one of our regular people that watch this show is you know very well, because y'all cause me all kinds of problems in Power Pro Wrestling. Dion Harlem. Is Cat Johnson, who usually watches this show. He watches this show every week. But man, y'all caused us a lot of problems in Power Pro, Mo.
Well, you know, wow, man, I wish I could Dion with me, Perry James, Slick Rick. Even for a time that I was tagging with Alan Steele. So, you know, I've had a number of partners. You know, Nelson was my greatest, but I've had a number of partners, and Memphis Wrestling has always been the biggest part of my heart. Even though I spent time in up north, as what we used to call New York, it was always great to come back to Memphis and be a part of Memphis Wrestling. Coming back, also working at Power Pro was probably the highlight of my whole wrestling career. Spending that time with a Slick Rick and Perry James and Dion Johnson, because man, we had some great times right up until that invasion by MCW. You remember that Saturday morning they came in and just laid us all out?
Yeah, and that went downhill. We didn't last long after that, did we?
No, sir. It seemed to fade away really quickly. But prior to that, man, Power Pro Wrestling was probably as good as, if not better than, you know, the old iteration of Memphis Wrestling, the Saturday morning Memphis Wrestling. And I think you did a really good job with that program, Randy, and I was glad to be a part of it.
I appreciated you being a part of it, and we'll go back to Michael St. John, the legendary person that's going to be in the Hall of Fame as well. He's the voice of the debut video of Hulk Hogan, the voice of the Kamala video, to see if he has any comments or questions to Sir Mo, Bobby Horn. Here's Michael St. John from Arab, Alabama.
Thank you, Randy. You know, Mo, unfortunately, I did not get to spend that time in Power Pro Wrestling. I was working in Los Angeles at the time, and have just revisited that via the videos. But it looked like, you know, I think Randy Hales, as a promoter and a matchmaker and a booker, could stand in line with any of them. And I know people talk about the legendary
we have some technical difficulties.
Jim Crockett and all those guys, but he could stand in that Hall of Fame for promoters and bookers with anybody. Your thoughts on what you said you gotten a little sour on the business. Was there anything in particular that sort of brought you down?
Technical difficulties, but while we're waiting, just want to remind anybody, if you could see this, September the 21st in Jackson, Tennessee, the 2004 Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame inductions. I think they start about 3:30 in the afternoons. You can get your tickets online. Looking forward to seeing all the fans come out and be a part of this. I'm looking forward to really being a part of the class, Rock and Roll Express and PG-13. and Tommy Rich and Dangerous Doug Gilbert and Dave Brown. Interested in the Law Lee presentation. I'm excited about it, and I'm just humbled to death to be a part of this.
Okay, looking forward to it for sure. And real quick, we're going to see if it had something to do with that. And we've taken Michael off the screen now. Maybe that was a problem. Can you hear me now, Mo?
I can hear you, Randy.
Did you not hear Michael's question?
I did not. No, sir.
Okay. He basically asked the question, and certainly he's here now. Certainly, if you can hear me, that's good, and we are on the air right now. His question was, you said in your little talk a few minutes ago, you were soured on the business, and he was wondering if you would like to share that.
Truthfully, man, so my greatest experience in this business was the first time I came into Memphis in the early 90s, 93 with Nelson. And then it was even when I came back with Dion at Power Pro. The time in between that, from 93 to 96, the time I spent in New York, man, was tumultuous, and it was not a great experience. There was a lot of drama. It was a constant headache, constantly trying to just stay out of trouble. Even when you wasn't doing anything, you stayed in trouble. So it was just a bad time, man. And I had a really bad experience. It got so bad at one time, it almost drove me to want to commit suicide. And so that's why I say, when I left there, I told myself I would never put myself in a position where I work for anybody else in the wrestling business that can control, what I do and how I perform. And
All right. As we are having audio issues, and if Mo is still around where he can hear me, Mo, I think right now he is off right now, and we want to call up Carl Fergie right now. Cousin Carl Fergie from Jackson, Tennessee, Brownsville, Tennessee, the whole thing. Now, I have an answer to this question, and I have a video to back up my favorite thing. Just wondering, is the many years you were on TV5 Wrestling, and hopefully we'll have Mo back on in a few minutes, but I want to finish talking to Carl. And Carl, what is your very favorite memory of wrestling for the Memphis territory?
My favorite memory. Well, there's several. Randy, you were involved in one of them. I think me and Donnie Bass, we had some good episodes in there, not only in the studio, but it seems like it might have been Evansville or somewhere downstairs. Didn't we turn a locker over on you or something?
Hey, you about tried to kill me, man. I don't know if Michael St. John saw this. Mo is back, and Mo, we're glad that you disconnected and connected back, and we'll be with you in a minute. But I wanted to show a video because your favorite memory is when you almost killed me.
That was a favorite of mine. Yes, it was the highlight of my life. I don't know, Randy. I'm sorry.
And here I am, the one booking your ass in Jackson, Tennessee. Here we go. But you will see. Listen to me.
It was for the business. We needed the heat. The heat. They don't have heat anymore. They don't have heat anymore. We needed heat.
Now, let me tell you how we do this, because I know you're technically might be in the 10th century or something like this, but we will watch this video, and you can see the video, hopefully, if all works out. And you can talk over the video. Your microphone will be live. Michael St. John, Carl Fergie tries to kill me in 1987 in Evansville, Indiana. But first, here's Les
Evansville, Indiana. Randy Hales was there doing the commentary on the matches. Randy West was shooting them. Fortunately, he kept the camera going, and let's share now some of the roughest stuff that I have ever seen in all the time. Watch what happened in Evansville, Indiana.
I'm doing commentary where it's also a part of the office. This is in the stage area in Evansville, Indiana. Carl and Donnie, look at that mess you're trying to do. This ain't wrestling, Carl. This ain't wrestling.
No. I wanted to sling that Dundee through the table, but it looks like Donnie dropped it before I could do it. There you go. He finally hit the table.
I want to explain to you that this brawl went on for about 17 to 20 minutes. I'm talking a real knockdown, drag-out fight. We didn't show all of it today, so you will see some.
Randy, it's almost like we had this staged, but I have no idea you had this video when you asked me one of my favorite things that happened. And I happen to remember that. And just so happens you had the video prepared. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I didn't see any notes on the show today, and just when I got home from work today, after I talked to you on the phone, I put it together. And now Frank Morrell's funny, was just kept yelling, "Stop, stop, stop!" And Frank Morrell, the referee, was bigger than any other talent.
That's right. Frank was there. Yep. We were just talking about Frank. We need to track him down. See what's going on there.
I wish you would have torn down the building, because that building needed to be torn down.
I hope you don't show the part. You remember Lawler? Well, we come out of there. He put my head in the toilet that night too.
Yes, Michael. After the attitude, Carl Fergie's. I remember why Lawler wanted to flush him into the toilet, and we'll see that in a minute.
No, let's cut that out. That's not. Yeah, no, that's fine. I got over it.
Now, did you saw that shot of me? Wasn't that Michael St. John? Wasn't I a good-looking dude back when I was young?
Like the red jacket, Randy. It really showed your talent.
Well, I think this rivaled the Tupelo concession stand brawl. There's a lot of action in this.
Yeah.
I think it's better than the second Tupelo concession brawl. That first one was pretty crazy, but that second one, this I think is better than that. There's Randy. You're trying to get everything law and order restored. Did you slip down? Looked like you slipped on whatever was on the floor then.
No,
I think so. It was dangerous.
Yeah.
Carl, I could have died this night, man.
I know, me too. Yeah, you don't want to turn that Dundee loose with foreign objects, I guarantee you.
Uh-oh. Looks what's happening now. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Isn't that horrible? Now they want to know why I hate my cousin. Look at that. He's got the plunger.
How about this, Michael St. John?
Oh, man. I'm surprised the health department didn't shut it down.
I know. How degrading. How degrading.
Lord. I've seen parts of this, Randy. I haven't seen the full thing.
That just a minute ago, I think that's where I was almost killed, Carl.
Oh, yeah?
And now a table hit me. I think that referee is Richard Lee, who later became the manager of the Moondogs, Michael.
I think you're right. Is that Brick? Is that Brick House?
Brick House Brown, of course, passed away same day Brian Christopher passed away.
Big loss, both of them Well, gone way too soon. Way too soon.
Carl, you're doing a lot of damage here. Now he's done damage to you. And I'm about knocked out here.
Randy looks like, were you in the 8th grade or something, Randy, that time?
I would have been 25 or 26 years old here.
Wow.
Al Tuttle wants to know, was the toilet clean before you got flushed?
I don't know if it was a rib or what, but Donnie Bass told me he had to relieve himself in there before that thing started. He asked if the water tasted funny or something. Uh-oh.
Am I bleeding? Okay, let's come out of that right now. And Carl, I will tell you right now, if I would have remembered that and watched the whole thing through, you about killed me. You think a month ago I'd have called you and booked you on this show? Now I don't want to even go. I'm scared.
Now who's shooting and who's working is my question.
Exactly.
Hey,
Wow.
there's been a lot of controversy over the last week, guys, about chair shots. And I saw the film of the one that is being referred to. In my humble opinion, I think what we just saw was more dangerous than any chair shot mainly because you had so much garbage, if you would, on the floor. You didn't have footing. And nothing can break a leg or break an arm faster than slipping on a floor. And Randy, you just took it in the head with a locker. To me, that's a lot more dangerous back in those days than the chair shots today. But they do chair shots today, and kids get concussions and get put out of the business. Back then, you'd blow somebody up with a locker or get in a brawl like that, and an hour later, you guys were all on the road going home in one piece.
Yeah.
That was a neat little thing, and that was really one of my first. Jerry Jarrett was the official booker. However, he was in Florida, so I was doing the booking, and I wanted to do that thing in Evansville, and Waller brought some stuff, and different people did, and the following week they came out on TV, and we had another brawl, and I'm not saying we sold out every night, but that was good stuff. Do you not have good memories of that, Carl?
Yeah. It was awesome. Yeah. You know what? That was actually a great building for wrestling too, the way it was set up and everything, So
it was a dump, but it was a good dump.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the people could, they could let loose when they came in there. That's what they came for. So it was good. Yeah.
Carl, I got to ask you, and Randy, I hope you don't mind if I ask a question here.
Sure.
Carl, did you enjoy your time as a wrestler more than your time as a referee? Because I know when you started refereeing, you were down and working for Bill Watts, and you were doing stuff out of New Orleans and even into Houston. And if I recall correctly, I think you did a little stint in Atlanta. What did you enjoy most?
Yeah, you know what? The referee job, the thing I did enjoy about it, it was good, steady work. I didn't have to worry about moving around, to different territories like we did back then, in order to keep a job or whatever. I enjoyed that part. And of course, I enjoyed not having to take the bumps, it was easier on my body too, But no, and I enjoyed the wrestling part of it, but it was a little bit more stressful, trying to please the higher ups. You went every night. You knew you had to perform, and you knew you had to have a good match. Otherwise, bad things might happen to you. So I didn't have that kind of stress on me. So I enjoyed that part of the refereeing. But it was kind of a toss up. I did enjoy wrestling. A lot of people don't know, but one of the reasons that I stepped down, I hurt myself. And talking about Evansville, Indiana, is where I hurt myself. I was in the ring with Terry Taylor, and I tore my ACL ligament in my right knee. And but amazingly, I finished my match. I missed one day of work. I went back had it taped up every night. I didn't tell a lot of people, but when you do something like that, you have an injury, you just can't do the things that you are used to do, or you're always cautious about favoring that knee and stuff. So it weighed on my mind. I knew I was going to be limited doing that because I didn't have the insurance or the money to have a surgery and get it fixed or whatever. And I haven't had it fixed to this day, so I still have to baby it, So refereeing worked out good for me.
I'm glad it did, for sure. Adam, what I want to do now is play the 30-second commercial. We're talking it up. We're talking high. We're talking mighty. We're getting you excited about the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, the night to remember the Lawler Dundee celebration. We're going to play the commercial right now, and we'll be back, and we are going to talk to Carl about his. We're going to talk about the Hall of Fame inductees, and then we're going to talk about, well, before we get into that, we'll talk about the Lawler and Dundee rivalry for the ages. I'm excited about that. But right now, here's the commercial, and here's what we'll see in Jackson, Tennessee.
Remember, Saturday, September 21st, the Picture Perfect Event Center, Jackson, Tennessee. Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony comes to Jackson for the first time ever. The Rivalry of the Ages presentation to Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. Also, Handsome Jimmy Valiant, the Rock and Roll Express, Danny Davis, and tons more. Exclusive meet and greet at 3:30. Event to follow. Go to MemphisWrestlingHallOfFame.com to purchase tickets. Saturday, September 21st, Picture Perfect Event Center, 2310 North Highland, Jackson. A night to remember.
Scan the QR code on the poster or go to MemphisWrestlingHallOfFame.com. Great video by Adam Dunn. Great voiceover by Michael St. John. And right now I want to go, and I'll voice over just as quick as we can go. Let's go over the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame inductees for the class of 2024. Adam Dunn. Rapid fire. We will see Harry Del Rios, the Spellbinder. Good friend of mine. Can't wait for him to be in the Hall of Fame. The Spellbinder. Maybe the greatest babyface tag team in the history of the world. Ricky Morton and his son Kerry were my guests last night on the Randy Hale Show. Coming up on September the 21st, the class of 2024, the Rock and Roll Express, Rick Morton, Robert Gibson. He's one of the greatest trainers in the history of wrestling. He managed Jerry Lawler. He managed the Bombers. He, again, one of the greatest trainers, tag team partners, a tag team called the Nightmares. He is from Jackson, Tennessee. Nightmare Danny Davis. I'm so proud of this class. And we had on a little later. I'm sorry we lost connection, but he did great as he was on here. Did a fantastic job. Very intelligent. Tough son of a gun. Sir Mo into the Hall of Fame. From East Tennessee, he's a tough one. Tony Anthony, the dirty white boy. He'll be inducted by none other than Doug Gilbert. Another one of the great trainers of pro wrestling, Dr. Tom Pritchard. He will be inducted by his former tag team partner, Pat Rose. Great guy. That's my partner in this advance. When I told him on my show that he was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, Terry Golden, that Carl knows, living in Jackson, Tennessee. Carl, what sold me on Terry is, even though we were in opposition back in the day, he loves wrestling as fiery as wrestling as I am, fired up about wrestling as I am, and I've inducted a lot of people into the Hall of Fame. It brought tears to his eyes, and that's the kind of people I want in this Hall of Fame. Terry Golden. I'll let you comment real quick about Terry since you know him real well. As a matter of fact, I think you sell him insurance.
That's right, Terry. Yeah, Terry's one of my clients. For he and his family have health insurance with me. Terry, great guy. Got a great business here in Jackson. His record service, been there for years, I guess. and doing quite well. So anyhow, great guy. Like Terry a lot.
All right, next up in the Hall of Fame, a team that I pushed to the moon, Jamie Dundee, JC Ice, Whoopi D, PG-13. Can't wait for this, and they will be inducted. I can't tell you, but you will like it, people, and you will be surprised, and you'll be shocked. Next. How about this guy, Carl? I don't know him.
He is the man, like he said earlier, dating way back to the Chattanooga days. You know, does a great job with the mic and everything, and obviously loves the business and loves to promote the business. So good guy, Michael St. John.
All right, the Hall of Fame class of 2024. We don't need to go back over all of them, but your thoughts about going in, Michael St. John, with this class?
Well, I'm very honored. I don't think I deserve it. I will be the first to say it, but I am very honored. There's as you look at the history of Memphis wrestling, I think it's as alive today as it ever has been. And I think now there are so many people via the internet, the World Wide Web, and shows like this, and podcasts of the nature that the references to Memphis wrestling is that it was a groundbreaking territory. It was a territory that back then, not the whole world knew about it, but those who knew, and they got it, and they were followers of it for a long, long time. So I think the fact of the matter is that Memphis is, as a wrestling territory back in those days, is as competent today and as cognizant today in the wrestling world that so many times on so many shows you see elements of Memphis wrestling coming out. Somebody on this show a few weeks back, Carl, made the comment that Memphis wrestling was the precursor and the classic Memphis style of wrestling was what led ECW to become the type of wrestling it was. And when you think about it, Paul E. Dangerously was back in our days when we were doing it. He was actually, I think, 19 at the time when he came to work for Jerry. Jerry didn't have a car, didn't have a way to get around. But the fact of the matter is, I think that's a very profound statement that the precursor of ECW was indeed Memphis Championship Wrestling.
Yeah. And you know what, Michael, and you guys probably already know this, but you wouldn't think about it. But when Bill Dundee came to Oklahoma, I guess I was probably refereeing by then, you know, and Bill Watts brought Dundee in, you know, to help out with the booking and stuff. And he started bringing the guys in like Ricky and Robert and Dennis and Bobby and stuff like that. Just basically that Memphis style of wrestling, popped the territory, you know, along with Jimmy Cornette, you know, and it was awesome. I thought I was back home again, you know.
Doing a lot of business, Carl, and making a lot of money, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was good. It was all good. But again, like you said, is just that Memphis element being spread around, you know. So they were always used to the bigger guys, you know, and it was kind of hard to sell for Dundee to sell Watts on that, you know, because he didn't really like the smaller wrestlers. He liked the big, you know, the big giants, you know, the Murdochs and, you know, people like that. But when the people saw, you know, the action that the Rock and Roll and the Express had, you know, it was they just took off with it, you know. So.
Did the best business of Bill Watts' career. Hey,
exactly.
The night to remember, folks. I'm so excited about it. 3:30 in the afternoon. The doors open. Tickets on sale right now. Scan the QR code. You can also go to Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, and the ticket there is premium VIP. Front row tickets left. Not many of them. Those tickets are $75. Get you into everything all night long. All night long, every event, you can get the VIP thing. 3:30 is the meet and greet. Everybody that we've taken a look at, the first segment of the show, when we showed so many pictures of the people in the meet and greet, and also like the Tommy Riches and Doug Gilbert, so many more, and also the people in the special ceremony, Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee, and everybody in the Hall of Fame. Everybody, folks, will be there, so you can't miss it for sure. But guys, the one thing that I'm excited about, because at 7 o'clock we'll play the national anthem, we'll lower the lights, we'll play the music, we'll have the national anthem sung by Pat Rose's son. That will be beautiful. And then, no doubt about it, when you talk about rivalries in professional wrestling in the South, maybe you might say Dusty Rhodes and Ole Anderson. Maybe in Michigan, you'll say Bobo Brazil and the Sheik. You can say Dick the Bruiser. You can say so many different people. But in our eyes, the best rivalry ever in the history of professional wrestling, it started, their first single match was in 76. They had a 18-week feud in a row in 1977. They had many sellouts after that. About 17, I think, sellouts in a row. We're going to watch some video right now about the rivalry for the ages, the rivalry for a lifetime. At the top of the card, whether it was Memphis, Mid-South Coliseum, Louisville Garden, Evansville, Indiana, the arena at the Coliseum there, the Rupp Arena in Lexington Sports Arena in Nashville, Jackson Coliseum, the Jonesboro Sports Arena, the Tupelo Sports Arena, Louisville Gardens, Evansville, it all over. And here's some action you saw, including action from TV5, as we're seeing Lawler against Dundee in a fast-paced, action-packed thing. As you see Lawler takes that bump there. Great music there. Trading punches. What do you think, Michael St. John, about this feud, this rivalry for the ages, Lawler and Dundee?
You know, it's one of those rivalries that you can't watch one match and get the full. You know, so many of these rivalries, you see them wrestle one time, you see them wrestle again. They're sort of a rehash of a rehash of a rehash. I don't think these guys ever had two matches that were alike. And I think that is the ultimate compliment to both Jerry and to Superstar Billy, because every match they were in, it just had something different about it. I mean, whether the hair was at stake, whether the title was at stake, whether it was a no holds barred, no disqualification, no time limit, they were all different. And I think that's a testament to these guys as the outstanding athletes that they are. Because you watch this stuff with Billy and Jerry, and to this day, it brings me to the edge of my seat. And I've seen it before. I've watched it before. I called some of it, and it's just that good. So to honor this kind of legacy and the rivalry of the ages, perhaps the biggest and best rivalry in the history of territory wrestling in America, I think is very, very apropos that it's done now, as both of these gentlemen now are retired or getting on up in age. And I think for these guys to come together and for us to honor them in Jackson in a week from Saturday, I think is going to be just the highlight of the show.
Carl, what do you think about the rivalry for the ages? There we are. There you see Jackie Fargo hit the ring. Look at those punches, Carl. Is now Phil Hickerson and Dennis Condrey in on Fargo. This is good stuff. Your thoughts as Fargo going to town with those punches? Your thoughts, Carl, for our guest today?
Yep, exactly, Randy. That's good stuff, man. And just like Michael said, I mean, you don't see any scripted matches with those two. We're talking about Dundee and Lawler. You know, it's just comes second nature to them, and they go the limit. You know, every night after night. And like you said, you don't see the same match. You know, and those are true professionals there, and they keep the people on the edge of the seat for sure. You know, but I guess Jackie was instrumental in bringing Jerry Lawler into the business and passed on a lot of that showmanship to him. You know, so the greats training the great that you have there.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. You will see a tribute. You will see this video. You will see 2 special presentations that we will do live. Waller and Dundee doesn't have a clue what we have in store, but it will be for the ages. And Carl, I have not told you this, but we have a bunch of guys with history with Waller and Dundee, both a part of that ceremony at 7 o'clock in Jackson, Tennessee. You're one of the guys I have scheduled to speak.
You're kidding.
No, sir. We
Well,
broke
all
a
right.
scoop here, folks.
We'll get it done, Randy. We'll get it done, baby.
You can tell I'm on top of this, Carl.
I hear you. Not commenting on anybody's ages, but I grew up watching these, these guys. Not going way back. They're a little bit ahead of me, but you got to remember they've been in business a long time. So.
And it was just unbelievable chemistry. Waller and Dundee's chemistry together was unmatched. Who would you say you had perfect chemistry with as a opponent in the ring?
You know what? I don't know. There was several of them, I guess. I had good matches. If I got to pat myself on the back, but you got, when you have good matches, you got to look at your opponent too, because he's doing half of it, And Bobby Eaton comes to mind. But of course, Bobby could work with anybody, And I've had good matches with Jerry and Bill too. So, but again, nothing on that level of what they're doing. I don't think. So.
This is just great stuff. A part of a night to remember.
Yeah.
Remember the meet and greet at 3:30, then at 7, then the tribute, the rivalry for the ages, then the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Also, folks, I'm excited about. We will feature Power Pro Wrestling and KW Wrestling, and people from those two promotions will be in the house too. This is loaded. A lot of great talent, Michael and Carl, that will be in Jackson on September the 21st. How many more times will all of us have the opportunity to be together and under the same roof, Carl?
That's true. That's true. You know what? I'm amazed that this is happening. It's a moment in history, basically, to get everybody together that way. And I never dreamed that you guys could do it. And it's a great job on your part, Randy.
Randy, my wife had a perfect term for this last week. We were talking because she's wanting to know what to wear. And I'm telling her that it's casual, but Melanie always looks nice no matter what. But she called it, she says, this doesn't sound like a wrestling show. This sounds like a family reunion. And
Exactly.
I got to thinking about it, and she's right. It's a family reunion, not only of us together, and people like Carl and yourself and Sir Mo and Pat and everybody being together, but it's a reunion of the fans too. And the fans are going to see the fans perhaps for the first time since the shows went away. And it's a great reunion. So I compliment Melanie for terming it that way. But the more I think about it, the more it hits home.
Michael, I never even thought about that aspect of it. The fans, seeing people that they haven't seen in 40 years or whatever. I remember you were on that grill over there. You threw popcorn in my hair one night. Remember that?
And so many of them communicated not only during the matches and during the pre-show, the pre-match, or before the matches began, but also during the time when you take an intermission, and they got to know each other by first name, and we're all kin to each other when it comes to our love for the greatest sport on earth, which is professional wrestling. And I think that says a lot about what Randy has put together for this incredible event on the 21st.
Lamar, watching on YouTube, says, did Cousin Carl ever wrestle fellow Jacksonian Bill Hickerson? So there's a question to you, Big Carl.
Well, you know what, I didn't, and maybe that was a good thing. I may not be sitting here tonight. That Phil, I watched some of his matches. He was about as rugged as they came, but no, I didn't. And I have a lot of people ask me that, not necessarily had matches with him, but as far as met him and did trips with him or whatever. I think we were always at different spots at different times or something. We really didn't work, like he was kind of ahead of me. He was a little bit on his way out by the time I came along, I believe. I've met him a few times along the way, but no, I never got in the ring with him.
We'll continue to watch this video and a great video that my producer Adam Dunn in Rome, Georgia area put together. Just great stuff with Waller and Dundee at the Mid-South Coliseum. Watch these punches. It looks like, guys, and it's stiff, but look at Waller and Dundee's selling as well. Is that not a thing of beauty, Carl?
Yeah. But you know what, Randy? I was just thinking a lot of that and a lot of the great matches and those punches that you see. I lost my video. I don't know if that was me or you. There you, it's back.
Okay.
But I think those guys, I don't know if you remember back, maybe a little animosity between them, and that was in 1980. And when I got back from Japan in 1980, I think that's when I first came to Memphis.
Let's listen to the audio for this.
In the morning. I told you about his old lady, this old hag he keeps home up in Nashville. She told him, she said, Bill Dundee, let me tell you something. Don't you come home if you lose that hair, because I don't want to ever see that ugly face with no hair on it. That's his old lady. That's Dundee's old lady right there. Look at that. Look at that fool. That is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Dundee has brought his old lady down here to fight his fight for him. Did you see that? Did you rednecks see that?
That's good stuff there, Randy.
As good as you get, Carl.
Yeah. I can see my dad now throwing something at the TV on Saturday morning.
Absolutely, 100%. I thought that, and Adam, I didn't think, as Adam put it together, but the perfect way to end that video was Waller and Dundee and the Beverly Dundee coming out, the old hag he keeps up there in Nashville. What did you think about that video, Michael?
That is, the greatest thing about that video is the surprise on Lance Russell's face when Beverly Dundee enters the frame. Have you ever seen that? If you look back at his expression, that is classic Lance Russell. And I watched that, and when I saw it, I knew it was coming, and I looked at it and I said, if every wrestling commentator could have the poise and demeanor of Lance Russell would still be the best of all of them. And so that that to me, that's typical Memphis wrestling. Ole Anderson didn't like it, but everybody else sure did.
And the people did, for sure. So many people. The headline act, so to speak, of the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, the Boogie Woogie Man, came rolling in the MFOTWA. Tell all the ladies, handsome Jimmy's on the way. He's a rocker, he's a roller, he's a little funky too. He was raised by a gypsy. Handsome, cool. I had the video loaded. We saw as we went on the air. Here is the interview from Shawsville, West Virginia, of handsome Jimmy Valiant.
Capper, September, Saturday, the 21st. It's going to be in Jackson, Tennessee, the official Hall of Fame of Memphis Wrestling, inducting handsome Jimmy. Woo, mercy. Boogeyman Phil, go and tell my people, don't you dare miss it. And all the big stars, man. Kingfish Jerry Lawler, Superstar Billy, yes, baby. And thank you so much, Mr. Hill, Mr. Golden. Thank you. I'll be there. You be there. Hold that high.
Handsome Jimmy Valiant rolling in, and he will be a member of the Hall of Fame. Words Carl Fergie about handsome Jimmy Valiant.
Handsome Jimmy, that's my man right there. We did a lot of miles together. You know, we would hook up, headed to Louisville, him coming out of Memphis, and at that time I was living in Haywood County around Brownsville, so we would take off and do the loop together, and everywhere we went, they knew who Handsome Jimmy was. I don't think I ever paid for a meal at a restaurant or anything. You walk in, and the thing about Jimmy is 24 hours a day. He's Handsome Jimmy, big, you know. So you walk in, you know, and he's going into an interview right there. He called it his monologue, you know. He says, "Baby, I got to do my monologue." I said, "Do your thing, Handsome." So they loved him, you know, everywhere we went.
Michael St. John comments on the headline act. Handsome Jimmy Valiant from New York City.
Y'all don't know, but you do know. I know the folks that watch the show know that I am a big fan of Handsome Jimmy as a wrestling fan, but even a bigger fan of him as a professional in the respect that he garners. You know, when people are, like you were saying, Carl, when people react to a star like that they do to Jimmy, and not only this area, but in the Carolinas and down on the Gulf Coast and everywhere. You know, he is really universally known and perhaps hasn't gotten the platitudes that he deserves. But the one thing about Jimmy is Jimmy's heart. Jimmy's got a great heart, and he's got a great heart for this business. He's got a great heart for the people in this business, and he has a big heart for the fans, and that has never changed. He's still the boogie woogie man, Handsome Jimmy Valiant, but he will always, always have that big heart. And for us as fans, we're blessed to be in the same room with him.
True story. True story.
Absolutely. A big night to remember. Starts at 3:30 in the afternoon with the meet and greet. Then the ceremony starts at 7, the Lawler and Dundee tribute, and then the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, the recognition of the Power Pro Wrestling and the KEW Wrestling. It's a loaded night. That's why we're calling it a night to remember. Carl, I appreciate you being on tonight. I didn't tell you how long it would be, but you were on for the whole show. It's usually an hour show. We've gone overtime. Well, the Monday show is usually our show, but we filled plenty of time and was packed. Did you feel like you were appearing on television? We got it going on this show, don't we, Carl?
A little bit, yes, sir. And I appreciate the opportunity, you guys. I appreciate you bringing me on tonight. It was fun reminiscing like that, you know. So I don't get that a whole lot. Yeah.
Hey, next Wednesday, I believe, the Wednesday before the event, I'll be in Jackson doing some prep, and maybe we can go out and get some lunch, Carl.
That sounds good. Does that mean you're buying, or what's going on?
Yes, sir, you cheap ass. I will buy, no doubt about it.
Just kidding.
I'll buy, no doubt about it, because I think we'll make a lot of money. Final words, Michael, to Carl, as we say bye to Carl tonight.
Brother, it's been too long since we've talked, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in person. And when the class was announced and your name was announced, I was over the moon, because I've always had a lot of respect for you. You've given a lot to our business. You've given a lot of great. You've given a lot of young people a great person to emulate and to be part of and be like, and that you'll always be that. You get that leadership quality is always there about you, King Carl. And man, I loved working with you and love getting a chance to see you again a week from Saturday.
Thank you, Michael. It was great to see you again and talk to you guys. And you too, Randy. I'll be seeing y'all soon, okay?
Thank you, Carl. Carl will be a part of the meet and greet at 3:30. He will also be a part. We broke the news right here on this program. He will be a part of the rivalry for the ages, as he will have words to say. Maybe, just maybe, that crown he stole from Jerry Lawler, maybe, just maybe, you'll give it back to him in Jackson, Tennessee on the 21st.
Wow. All right. With that, let me go, okay?
Carl Fergie, everybody. What a great guest as he waves and he's out of here. Cousin Carl Fergie. I love it. This was a unique show. Our Tuesday night shows. Normally, Michael, just Pat and Chris and you and me talking some Memphis wrestling. I love those shows. But I'm in the money drawing mode. I am in the promoter. I have my promoter cap on. I'm trying to sell tickets to a night to remember. Scan that QR code, folks, because you want to be a part of it, as is a night to remember. So we've been cutting into our regular scheduled programs, but have you enjoyed the last month or so, Michael? Been doing it every Monday, every Tuesday.
Oh, absolutely, Randy. Are you kidding me? When you get to bring these great folks back in, you get to talk to them, you get to see them on camera. You know, it makes a week from Saturday night. I'm counting the days. Joshua started on my calendar the other day. He puts a little X mark on every day. He's counting up to the days that we're going to be there, and I can't wait. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing the boys. But I'll be honest with you, I'm also looking forward to seeing all these fans, especially those that we see the names of and the comments of on this show, getting to know them and getting to maybe grab a picture with them. And the fandom of Memphis Wrestling is worldwide, and just to have this unique experience. I mean, this is a big event, and it's definitely a benchmark in my life for sure.
One of the things that I think is great, the ceremony will be hosted, the Hall of Fame ceremony and the rivalry for the ages, and it couldn't be any better, Russell and Brown. Dave Brown and the son of Lance, Shane Russell, who is a frequent guest on this show, will be hosting that event, Michael St. John.
Well, you couldn't go any better. I mean, and nothing is more apropos than having the original Dave Brown and having the son of Lance and Shane being there as part of that of this ceremony. It's like passing the torch to the next generation. And, you know, I know a lot of the fans of Memphis Wrestling that were there when all this was going on are planning to be there. But I'm going to say this to the folks, the younger folks, and I know we've got a bunch on this show that watch. This is an opportunity. This is a benchmark in history. This is an opportunity, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to shake the hand, to take the picture, to share the stories with the people that made Memphis Wrestling what it is and what it will forever be. And there's not going to be a lot more of these opportunities, I can assure you, if any. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, I would encourage you to do so. And for a night of entertainment and a night of relaxation where you can remember the great days of the past, but also talk to the guys that are part of what is today, and some of the great wrestlers that are going to be there. They're going to be part of the future as well. So I think it's a great event. I can't wait to be there, and I'm looking forward to my wife will be there. Joshua's going to be there with his mom. A couple other members of our family, my stepdaughter and her friend that lives here with us are going to be there, and looking forward to being there. And Randy, of course, always looking forward to seeing you and Pat and the coach, and being able to share some smiles and hopefully get another picture to update the one you got on the wall behind you.
All right, that will be fantastic. Need to update that picture as well. We're going to close the show with the interview I opened up with the great Dave Brown. He did a great job. We'll close with that, and our regular show close anyway Adam wants to do that. We're rounding third, man. We're headed to Jackson the 21st, folks. It's 11 days away. For Pat Trammell, who dropped in, Sir Mo, who was here, the great Carl Fergie, King Carl Fergie, cousin King Carl, and Michael St. John. Adam Dunn produced. I'm Randy Hills. Good night, everybody. Here's Dave Brown.
To the 21st in Jackson. That's a Saturday night, and it's going to be out on North Highland Street at the Picture Perfect Event Center. A night to remember. It should indeed be a night to remember. For one thing, a tribute that night to the duel of all time, the King, Jerry Lawler, and the superstar, Bill Dundee. Also, Shane Russell, Lance, my partner Lance's son, Shane Russell, is going to be joining me as we do the 2024 Hall of Fame inductions. It should be a great night. Listen, some of the people that are going to be there. The King, Jerry Lawler, of course, superstar Bill Dundee, handsome Jimmy Valiant, the Spellbinder, PG-13, Dr. Tom Pritchard will be there, the Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony, Rock and Roll Express, Nightmare Danny Davis, Tommy Wildfire, Rich Dangerous, Doug Gilbert, Coco Beware, referee Jerry Calhoun will be there. Downtown Bruno also there, many, many more too. It is going to be a huge night, a night to remember, Saturday, September 21st, 2024, at the Picture Perfect Event Center, 2310 North Highland in Jackson, Tennessee. You can get your tickets online at Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame.com. All one word, Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame.com. Or they will be on sale the afternoon and evening of the event. See you for a night to remember.
Wrestling return to Jackson Saturday, September 21st at the Picture Perfect Event Center. It will be a night to remember. Be there for the Fan Fest meet and greet at 3:30, featuring Jerry the King Lawler, Superstar Bill Dundee, the Boogie Woogie Man, Handsome Jimmy Valiant, Jerry Calhoun, Michael St. John, and more. The legends of Memphis Wrestling return to Jackson Saturday, September 21st at the Picture Perfect Event Center. Tickets are on sale now. Go to Eventbrite and search Official Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guests.